IVM.
कृपया ध्यान दीजिए, the language used on the podcast may not be fit for consumption. We warn you, tread carefully. But listen yaar, don't be so conservative. Alright, another variant. This is the variants and mutations that are happening with the virus. There's a variant of cock and bull also. This is the third wave of our show. Oops, I won't say that. I'll quickly, before I bring in the other two, I'll quickly mention that I cut my ear, and this might happen to a lot of men, maybe women as well, because that ear hair in your 40s starts coming out, and it started irritating me, and there's no one to do that. In fact, even the makeup man I meet once a week refuses to touch that area. So I tried it on my own, and it's very, very difficult to do. This is my warning. Amit is nodding, so obviously he's tried it himself. Do not try to cut hair inside the ear with a pair of scissors yourself. It's just not going to happen. I think this is the wrong instrument as well. So let this pain that I've experienced be the pain that I'm taking on society for all the men who will try this stupid thing. Don't do it. Let the hair grow. There's nothing wrong in looking like a gorilla. You're in lockdown. I think people can understand.
From uncensored and unfiltered chats with the who's who of the entertainment industry, I, Siddharth Kannan, bring you a very heartcake chat show called Candid Kannan. Tune in every Friday on the IVM podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right. Just to mention quickly that we're recording this because I'm off on a peace mission, trying to bring peace to different parts of the world, mainly 2 kilometers from Malabar Hill. And so weren't able to do this in person. So we had to do this slightly beforehand. So our news as usual will be 6 to 8 days old, even though it's only one day before the show.
That's not new, right? That's almost always the case anyway.
What about me? I'm for 15 years doing a bloody show on television, which is supposed to be a news show. And every time we put it on air about 24 hours before, when we turn on the TV, something else has happened, and our show is so redundant. I call up my friend Kunal and say, what do we do? What can we do? Somebody gets shot, or a huge election, the thing happens, controversy, or scam gets unearthed. Oh God, it's so unfair. They should always give us dates and times before they do anything. If you're on the media.
I have a solution for your ear hair problem.
Yes, please.
There is a product available from that is specifically designed for
inner
trimming the. Oh, inner, not outer. Oh no,
outer I can manage.
So I can
pluck it with my own fingers.
What?
Which is something girls really get turned on by when I do. So the outer ear, Amit, is not that bad actually. That hair it's like one cilia at a time. Literally you can pull them, or I can even cut that because I can see it clearly. But this is just inside. There's a little tuft in. God, the women listening to this show are going to just vomit. My
women have ear hair too.
I showed it to my wife and she almost threw up. I said, will you be able to? She's like, it's horrible. I wish I could show it to you. I don't know whether I can show it to you, but I don't know if you can see it, but it's there somewhere. And it's yucky. So now to take the scissors and go into that area.
Yeah, that's dangerous, dude.
You got to be a gladiator. You got to be one of those guys ready to die for your country.
Don't even try that though. That's horrible.
I wouldn't even try that.
Desperation, majburi causes you to do all kinds of things
Just
in life.
Chop off as much as you can pull, no? I mean, you must be able to pull some piece of it out.
No, it's very small. You don't grip it at all.
Can't you ask a makeup artist to do this? Like when you have makeup artist?
He's got COVID.
Oh, damn.
No, that's not funny, but he really does. No, he was incapable. He's more like a struggling actor who's stuck with makeup. Sometimes you have these doctors who become vets because they don't want to be, or dentists. That these are very good professions, please. Yeah. But I've heard stories.
But there might be, what might work? Women have these things like those eyebrow plucker type thingies. That basically is like a tweezer type thing, right?
My wife is of Kachi ancestry. Don't mention eyebrows, Amit Doshi.
Okay.
And I hope nobody brings this back to haunt me. I can't even talk about that area. Okay, if you know your Kachi people, please understand. I don't know whether you have any ancestry like that because you're very close, I know. But eyebrows, it's
okay.
Sindh and Kutch area, it's their thing. Haven't you noticed?
So again, maybe without approaching Aisha, you have the opportunity to figure out where you can get these tweezers from, right? Because that's those are things which you can just pull.
No, but
right? I mean, like you just grab a piece of the hair and then
it's too
just.
minute.
If you can get your fingers on it to the point where you can feel it, how can you not be
Yeah,
able
I
to
can
pull it?
feel it. I can
Then how
feel
can
it.
you not be able to use
We
the
should.
tweezers to pull it?
I don't know. I'll try. I haven't thought of the tweezers, but I've lost confidence. So once blood came out from that area, I'm
Yeah.
not a very courageous man. So once there's
I
blood in my
understand that.
ear, which anyway sounds like Rhea when you tell
It
anyone. So
sounds
everybody's
like
like,
a.
yes, it sounds like piles.
Actually, it sounds like an amazing song. Blood in my ear.
Blood in my ear. Yeah, Brian
That,
Adams.
Yeah.
yeah, it sounds.
I don't.
I was
I
thinking more
just
YouTube,
thought.
but okay.
YouTube, huh? Oh, you're more hard rocker. Okay, fair enough. I was going soft. Because mine was a romantic thing. Blood in my ear, pain and all that. Yours is more the powerful
Blood in
pain
the
of
ear.
blood in my ear. And it's not a very macho thing to discuss for three men having nothing to do during lockdown. But the fact of the matter is, I know people out there, please, if you're out there, please write in and tell us. I mean, this is recorded, so whatever, but write in anyway. Because I want support on this and I want real help. Because I think this is a huge issue which no one has tackled. Silvery, you won't feel it yet. You're too
Yeah.
young.
Thankfully,
I
yeah.
don't think it's really an issue. I don't remember all this in my 30s. It's last
It
3-4
depends on
years.
how hairy you are, right? I mean, like I've
Hmm.
been dealing with outer ear hair issues
No, but
for
outer
a
your hair
while.
is not that ugly and it can be removed even with an Anne French
Yeah,
crappy thing which some of the ladies in your house might have, which burns, but you can attach it and like a worm pull it out.
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that I've seen. I've seen
Ah,
the ladies do it. MTV, no names.
very
Yeah,
interesting. Okay, I didn't know that you
because
could do that.
their stylists and makeup artists were all hands on about all these little things. Let's face it, women and men are the same except for that one.
Is there still Anne French is still a thing? Huh? I mean, like the last time I remember seeing that was in
There must be
school.
other brands. Anne French may have been retired now, and maybe her
Yeah.
sister Julia French or something. I don't
Did you
know.
ever play pranks with Anne French hair removal cream?
Get shaved from head to toe for Women's Day special with Saukar on the streets of Bangalore on those heady days of 2001,
Okay,
2, 3.
So
So
what is this? What is this
it's very
Anne French thing?
painful.
So
it
it's like
is
a
that
cream
Extreme
thing.
that just
painful.
removes your
It's
hair.
it's a cream that removes hair.
And it's not fun. It's like
Ah.
and with the areas where there's some areas where it just pains more. I can't even
Yeah.
explain why. And all men have hairy calves. Whatever our hair levels are, calves are always hairy.
Yep.
So God, I screamed. And it was 5:30 in the morning because it wanted 2 hours to clean both of us up before going on the streets. So it started at 5:30 in the morning, and all men were doing it. There's one woman
Oh.
supervising, but freaking men were doing it. It was not even making it fun for me, and I'm ticklish. Please don't have this happen to you. And then you're thinking about your career. You wanted to do Hamlet. You want to play the big roles. You want to do Hollywood, Bollywood. Be on West End or Broadway or wherever. But there's some depth and some profundity to your life and some sophistication and something to be proud of. It's not about the money. And then you're dressed like a woman with skirts or legs being the main thing, legs and arms to be seen, and then going everywhere and acting normal to see how women are treated was the experiment that we tried. And now who's going to treat us like women? He's 6'3", okay, standing with his hand on his crotch like any Delhi boy while walking, okay, and I look like a young wrestler from Rawalpindi. Ridiculous outfit from Sohrab Modi picture about the Greeks in India. Oh, I don't know. And we look horrible as women, both of us, I must tell you. Really. I don't know what gender. I know there's some 92 that have been identified, but we didn't make it. We didn't make it into any of them. But coming back to the whole thing, it's a very painful process. So if you want to empathize with any woman who does it, remember that they really invest in all this.
So
I'm not saying they have as much hair as us, but
So 16-year-olds, we were all like, first coming into like full beards, right? After graduating from, not graduating, passing out of school, right? 10th standard, went for a trip with a bunch of friends. And somebody brought Anne French cream with them and applied it to one dude's beard, like over here on the beard.
good
That
God.
was not nice.
He was
man.
sleeping.
He was sleeping. And he was not
So
just
does it
sleeping.
burn?
It was
Does it like
we were
burn?
16 years old, just coming out of school. So he was not just sleeping, he was dead drunk.
Wow.
Right?
Get drunk
And
sleeping, so you had a lot of time to do it, to execute
yes.
your plans.
Yes.
So you did only one side, is it?
Yeah, basically one, not even one side. Like it was like from one side like a strip down the middle of the beard, right? And so like you have like two side, you have like half a goatee and you have like these mutton chop sideburns and like this gap in
Yeah.
the middle. It was hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, well.
I'm
You should-
glad.
I'm sorry,
Men
I
should
don't
try
know
it
this.
once.
Does it
Oh.
burn or something? It's supposed
Yeah,
to
it
burn,
burns
right?
like crazy.
burns,
The
it
guy
burns.
woke up
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it was burning like mad.
Oh man.
Yeah. It burns and it stays. The pain stays. It's not
Yeah.
a quick burn like a band-aid and then you're
Yeah.
okay. It burns and it stays. And they keep telling you to be calm. Whenever people tell you to be calm, you should really be worried. That's the line people say because they have no either idea what to say. It's like, okay, oh, that's a very dangerous animal. Be calm, be calm. But, oh, No chance.
That's a fun.
That's true. Actually, the term "be calm and move on"
Yeah.
is a World War II thing that British had applied.
Is it?
For their
Be
during
calm and carry on.
what was that?
What I'm
Blitz,
wearing?
the Blitz, right?
What are you saying? I mean,
Yeah, keep
come
on carrying
on.
on.
What
That's exactly what it
coincidence
is.
is that?
What are the odds?
Brothers and
What are
sisters.
the odds?
This
Oh,
is
man.
karma.
Yeah, this is wow. This is
Money must
amazing.
come. That kawa was right. Money must come.
Yes.
Let me count.
Wow. But yeah, so
Yeah.
the story is that during the Blitz, that is the year-long raids that Germany carried out on London and other cities
yeah.
of England.
1940.
Yeah, 1940. This poster came about as a means of the British telling their people that guys just keep calm and carry on.
It works well for lockdown as well.
It does. It kind
Actually,
of
It does
does.
actually. Yep.
Yeah.
Just
Actually does.
go about your shit. Go about your business. And not that everybody can do that, but yeah, it kind of does.
But I've always felt this. I get scared in aeroplanes. If a air hostess uses words like "Don't worry, be calm," I get scared. If they just don't say anything, I'm okay, because that's more sense of this is normal. If they just body language doesn't change too much.
Yep.
But if they are looking around and they tell you, "Don't worry, be calm," with their hands or whatever, they don't normally talk to you because they'll all be tied up with the seat belts. But do you guys think? Does that affect you watching
No,
the
so
body language of those in charge?
That 100% does, but I think that you're right about words like calm, right? Keep calm. When somebody
Yeah.
tells you that, you're like, okay,
There's no plan B. That's
No,
all he's got.
it's the opposite, right? It has the opposite. Whenever somebody starts a statement with me, let me be honest, they're lying.
Yeah.
You know,
That's a real setup. Can I be honest? What can I be honest? मतलब बैंक 10 साल से
what
क्या
is the
बोला?
rest, what is the rest of it about?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
20 years of talking lies, and now can I be honest?
Yeah, to tell you the truth.
No, to tell you your project sucks. It's always some critical analysis and nothing nice.
No, but to tell you the truth, right? That's another one
Yeah,
of those kinds of
yeah.
words, right? I mean, so those
To
are
tell
things
you
that
the
are
truth.
always kind of like, are you keeping in good health? You probably look like shit, which is why somebody is asking you, are you keeping in good health, right? It's all of these are like opposite triggers in that sense.
Yeah, it's actually very insensitive if a person's deliberately doing it. It really is. It's just being mean. A slightly intelligent person has understood that you're being very insulting. Sometimes just a guy saying MCBC is so much safer than this. This is that hidden layered insult. Yeah. Oops. All right. Shall we start with our
Let's do
so-called?
some subjects, some topics.
Yeah, we have some very interesting topics. The first one is hilarious from the get-go. The heading of the article is Toda Kutta Tommy. Gurugram man beats 6 neighbors for calling pet dog Kutta. So basically what happened is...
What did you say? What Kutta, Tommy?
Toda Kutta Tommy. So that's like
First, I think the first
Yeah.
thing is that you've seen this meme, right? Toda Kutta Tommy, Mera Kutta Kutta. Have you never seen that song?
Oh, that's this thing. Okay, it's a
that
play on
meme thing
words
now.
of that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Toda Kutta Tommy,
Yeah, I was
Mara
wondering
Kutta
what
Kutta.
was-
Sada Kutta Kutta.
Sada Kutta Kutta.
Correct.
Yeah, so it's like your dog Tommy, my dog is dog. Oh wow, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, what happened is this guy's dog, apparently named Tommy, was being a little
Who would
aggressive.
think that they would name their dog Tommy in North India?
I
I mean,
think
that's so rare.
No, I think that's why this guy was angry in the first place, because you're like, dude, it's such an easy name. If you guess the first dog name, you can come up with Tommy. You're still calling my dog. At least take some effort. So this guy's dog was being aggressive towards some people, and some of the neighbors came to him and started saying, "Ke, control your kutta, control your dog." And this guy was like, "Arey, mera kutta to Tommy hai," and started like actually physically fighting with rods, and it says with rods and chappals, or what? With rods.
Which is
at
a
least.
very strange combination. We discuss
Yeah.
offline Hamas and rockets, and then you think you mix up chappals and rods. That's
And they were
good
all
strategy.
the other 6 people were all members of the same family. So it's basically beating up a family for calling his
Yeah,
dog.
okay. Now let's just look at it properly. Firstly, understand as a dog owner, I understand you tend to get very defensive when people attack you about your dog. Okay. Firstly, it's like just imagine if you had your kid and someone looks at your kid, and there are kids called Tommy, and be like, Tommy's a very obnoxious kid in class. So immediately the parents' reaction is not good. It's just what we discussed. Not that we are amateur psychologists, but exactly what we discussed is how you approach a problem or situation. You approach in a hostile way, the guy's going to get defensive. I'm not taking his side. He can't use rods and chappals. That's madness. But having said that, so that's the first part. Second part is let's understand the word kutta and why that's a problem. The Hindi language has been for some reason, the way you use the word kutta as against doggy is a sweet sort of, way of calling an animal. Or when you see doggy, you have a softness to it. Kutta has always got these terrible connotations with it. If you look at Hindi films in the last 100 years, I just think that, I understand that. It's all,
कुत्ते कमीने
yeah,
मैं
they
तेरा
say
खून पी जाऊंगा.
it's two different words. It's not translating. It's not translating at all for me. And yeah, I used to cringe in Hindi films when you have the kutta kamina, always the same dialogue,
Right.
always. I was like, why? I mean, they're the most beautiful animals in the world. Why don't you go for the kabutar or something? Why are you going for? Anyway, that apart with my prejudices. The second thing is, we don't know what the catalyst actually is that happened in the conversation. Now, they are using the excuse of, he went berserk when he said kutta. But maybe more words were exchanged before that. Some threats were applied from the other side. So
This
I
is
would
in
like,
Gurgaon, right?
Yeah.
where tempers run high, I
It's
accept that.
almost definitive that more than just Kutta and Tommy were the words.
So it was in
exchanged.
Gurugram. This was in Gurugram.
That's Gurgaon
Which
only.
is the old version of Gurgaon, you
Oh, it is it?
moron.
Okay. I
Yeah,
thought it was,
Gurugram is New Gurgaon.
If you
okay,
read
my bad.
the epics and all, it's Gurugram.
Like Allahabad's new name is Prayasraj, right?
Yeah, Prayasraj, yeah.
Yeah, so same way Gurgaon.
Who doesn't use that when he's taking a cab to Allahabad?
Yeah.
No? Direct Prayasraj.
So there are two
Was it
lines
a-
from the article that
Yeah.
are important, basically, as to understand what exactly happened. It says a brawl broke out between the owner and his neighbor Sudhir after he asked him to chain his violent dog. He accused the owner of letting his dog loose that runs after kids in the area to bite them. Soon an argument followed after Sudhir called him a kutta and agitated the owner.
Did he call the owner a Kutta or did he call the dog a Kutta?
That's what the article says, called him a kutta, but it must have been the dog, and not the owner, because otherwise, why are they writing this article, I imagine?
Again, it doesn't matter what the word is. No, it's the tone. If you're looking for a fight, I can call you monkey. Monkey is a sweet word otherwise. I mean, I just called you a moron, but I said with affection. There's no aggression. So you can't, but I can... it's a pointless argument. This
I
also.
mean, the word, you're right. The word Kutta is a hard word, right? In the sense that like, the pronunciation is hard, consonants and stuff like that.
In our consciousness.
But the question is though, in some ways it's just a common noun though, right? So I mean, like, but people do like. I mean, there's this whole song, right? Tada Kutta, whatever, Mara Kutta, whatever.
Yeah, sort of.
Yes, but the point is that from what the article is saying, what he's reading out, the only trigger is the fact that he did not say doggy to Mr. Tommy, but he called Mr. Tommy Kutta. If that alone is the issue, it's hilarious. And like you said,
No, I think they were already like arguing, hey, why don't you just lock up your dog or whatever, tie him up? And this guy like,
in that
my dog
MCBC
wants
and
to
all
be
was
free.
happening, I said, tu kutta hai and all that, which is what we're getting out of it now.
What I understood when I read it, right, was that tere kutte ko bandh ke rakh, right? Instead of saying Tommy ko bandh ke rakh.
Tommy ko bandh ke rakh, haan.
Right, I think that's what I kind of garnered from the article. I might not be 100% right, but what I garnered was that he called the dog a kutta instead of calling the dog the name.
I can't believe that triggered it off alone. Just the use of Hindi kutta
It
versus
must be
dog.
more.
It has to be more.
But again, there's a full song, right? There's this song that's been created where this obviously is clearly a thing, right? Where you're not supposed to call a dog kutta, you're supposed to call the dog by name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a little preamble to that, which is, and like I said, as a dog owner, when they come and I have it all the time, exactly the same words, lock your dog up, or chain your dog, or leash your dog, whatever the words in English. And we get that all the time. And you tend to get defensive immediately because it's, especially when you know your dog is not aggressive. Now, I don't know in this case if the dog actually is aggressive. I still think it's unlikely. Because kids just run when they see dogs. Dogs chase them, but there's no intent sometimes to attack.
Again, dogs do take on owners' personalities, and this is an owner who decided to go and beat up 6 people. So
yeah, that's the madness in him. But I'm saying initially, what started it, what triggered it off? I think they're using this because it's humorous for all of us.
Yeah,
it sounds really funny, but there's more to it. I mean, unless he's completely nuts, he can't just say, "You have dishonored Tommy. तुमने Tommy को हिंदी शब्द से बुलाया, तो मैं तेरे को इतना मारूंगा, से गुड़गांव से तू पहुंच जाएगा पंजाब." But that's not exactly what happened. I'm sure there's much more.
So the article goes on to say that this isn't the first time that a dog-related argument has happened in.
So that's what. There's a lot of water which has not been cleared under the bridge.
No, but he's talking about just dog-related arguments in Gurugram, not these specific dogs.
No, but like major fights also. Like so.
But then there's Gurugram and there's dogs, right? People.
No, Baba. I think you're missing the point. I think there's a historical problem with the two families. It's like Kauravas and Pandavas in the same area almost.
No,
Haryana, isn't it?
that's not what the article says. The
No, no, no,
article
not
is
between these
then
guys. It's random people.
is
Other
referring to
people are also.
other
Yeah.
dog fights.
Yeah. So,
But
for instance,
let
another story.
let me talk for the dog people again. Everywhere there are dog haters, or what do you want to call them?
Yeah.
Dog disconnected people. Let's not use haters. Some are not haters in that sense. But so
There are also people who are irrational about their dogs, who don't understand how there are
one
both
breeds
sides.
the other. One breeds
Yeah.
the other. I'm telling you, I've seen it. I've done it myself.
Yeah.
You know, your blood rushes and all that because your ego gets involved, the male ego unnecessarily. When you come back and think about it, it's going to diffuse the situation in a minute just by behaving normally.
No,
But
I've been to places, right, where the thing that is changed, I feel like, in the last few years, right, is that it is no longer okay to be uncomfortable around dogs, and if you are, people look at you like you're some sort of fucking freak.
depends, yeah. But there are enough places. Yeah. Like there was a master G who came from when I was shooting 99 to take my measurements.
Okay.
He came in and he said, "Kutta ko pakro," and I just get irritated.
Huh.
So I said, "Nahi." So then after a little argument, he left. So then the production called me and said, "What's the problem?" I said, "He wants to tie the dog up. I'm not tying the dog up in his own house."
Right.
Which actually not a biggie. I got to just put him in my mom's room for 5 minutes. And just let once you cool down. But your ego, your ego reacts to it in a different way because you feel you're fighting for the oppressed. But this is the wrong battle. There is a time to fight for the oppressed,
Right.
and there are ways and to stand your ground. But this wasn't it. But so I'm just saying this Gurugram is much more amplified than Malabar Hill. Let's face it, right? So we are a very toned down version of getting into face of another person, and there, as you know, the climate is such. So,
it was probably a much more aggressive statement of how to put your dog down.
and there will be some history between them. I'm sure they've had all kinds of
100%. This is not a first
Neighbors
fight.
fight over only one thing, whatever that thing is. They just fight over that one thing. It goes on and on, festering like a cancer. Yeah.
So the article goes on to say that this isn't the first time when fights have been reported over dogs in Gurugram. Earlier in March, a residential family of 3 in Gurugram was held hostage in their car after neighbors objected to the family's habit of feeding stray dogs. The incident occurred in Vatika 21 Housing Society complex in Sector 83.
This happens all over India.
Yeah, exactly.
So we, the stray dog feeders, fighting the dog haters who say your dogs are coming because you feed them and all that thing. So and here mostly the stray dog feeders are the victims because they get beaten, pushed out, attacked, harassed, abused. Again, depends on which part of the country, rods or shoes and all that. I think is a country area geographically determined thing.
I'm a lot more sympathetic to stray dog feeders than I am, in some sense, to pet owners who are often obnoxious about this. I have some friends who just can't be around animals. They just can't. I mean, like, they freak out. And I'm like, are you going to accommodate humans, or are you not going to, or are you going to prefer, are you going to, do you want these people at your place or not? Right? I mean, that's what it comes down to. You can't expect them to be there and have them freaking out.
Yeah, but the thing is, we are also biased. So now when it's your own friend, it's you're never going to disrespect that friend and say, I won't tie up my dog and this and that.
No, there are people who, I have friends who do that.
Not with people they're close to. People they're close to are paranoid. You deal with it in a different way, bro. Which just exposes us again.
Yeah.
But I totally empathize with the guy who says, no, I don't want to tie up the dog also, because sometimes you're like, why?
But I mean, like, dude, the thing is, the dog friendliness in the world, not just in India, right? In the world is something that has changed over the last 20 years, 25 years. It was not like this. How many people did you know who had pets when we were younger as opposed to today? That number is multiples higher.
Maybe. I was dating a girl whose grandmother was extremely unattractive. And every time I went to the house, I had to see her. Now, I never told her to lock her up. I did want to. And I used to lose my appetite because she had this very strange thing coming out of her nose, which directly touched the upper lip and then went down towards the chin. But I didn't do it because, it's her house and her grandmother. And I just used hello, auntie, and put my eyes away. And, I dreamt of something else. What I'm saying is, if I enter Amit Doshi's house, I should not be demanding things, whatever they are.
So this is what I come down, right? Like,
on the other hand, you would say, okay, you're not comfortable because if I'm not demanding, you'll be like, you can see whatever. You'll be like, Raju, don't worry. He won't do anything. I'll keep him with my mom. You go in the room, whatever. That's what people do in a civilized society.
Yeah.
It's called compromise. But this both ways, once ego takes over, all this crap happens.
All of this happens. It happens on both sides. Because you're right. Even the people who don't want the dogs around will be like, fuck it, I'm not going to their house. They have a dog. And
No,
they are
I've
not
been
friendly.
obnoxious with that lady. I told you all about a month back when the lockdown just started. One
Oh,
lady, the dogs ran around nowhere next to her also, but she overreacted. And that I gave her a thing about racism and black people, and you don't like this, you don't like the train, you don't like that, and tell me what you like. And I was very obnoxious. So that again, later on, once you cool down, you realize it's unnecessary. All I had to say was, look, don't worry, they won't do anything in a nice way,
yeah.
and probably diffuse the situation. But I chose to get aggressive because she was overreacting, and that irritated me. When they start doing that, it's very difficult for me to react nicely. So I have to tell myself. If Maya's there, it's a little easier.
The question now then, Cyrus, is that performative on their part or is that natural on their part? And if it's natural, we need to be somewhat
No,
sympathetic.
it's natural, but it's irrational. And so
Eh,
at some point, you're an adult person, and what if I spoke to her nicely without being obnoxious? I could have got my point
Right.
across also. As in, don't just think about it for a second as a rational person that no one is leaving their dogs around, running around free if they're going to be murderous, killer, villain man
Right.
eaters.
It's
But
it's not just
there's
it's
a
not just that though, right? I mean, like it's something I see this in my family too, right? Because in my family we have people who are very uncomfortable around dogs, and then we have pet owners. We have both, like in the extended family, and it's always a kind of like there's always a stress around that kind of stuff. Now, as years have gone by, more and more there have become less and less people who are kind of not at all comfortable with animals around, right? Because again, there are numerous pet owners, so you get a little more
Yeah.
comfortable as years go on. But I mean, there is this natural, like I know that up until a few years ago I had an aunt, right, who would freak out. She would see, like, she would just, like, she started
But
hyperventilating
it's
and
like
stuff like
racism,
that.
is it not? Because the offense actually is created by the person who's overreacting. Very often, that's where it starts, honestly, because the dogs are not even interested in them. In the case, I don't know what the case is in the Haryana
Oh,
story, whether they actually attack the children or whatever. There's some base to that. The dog is aggressive or reared aggressively. We don't know, so I can't answer for that. But I do know that very often here they're just not doing anything.
yeah,
They just look at them. It is like racism. They look at them and they
it's
overreact.
true.
They pull the child from the other side of the road and all that, and
But see, it's
then
not
you're
racism, it's speciesism.
yeah, it's what I meant, like from the
No, no, no. But I mean, like,
family
I
of
think that's like that's an important distinction, right? Like, one of the things that I look at is, like, when I think about these kinds of issues, right? And I am very sympathetic to dog owners, and I've been around dogs a lot, so I don't really have an issue with dogs in that sense. Though I probably would not want to have a dog for myself. I don't have an issue with friends having them. I've come over to your house a bunch of times. I played with
no,
your
that's
dogs.
neither here nor there. We're talking about people who are reacting, not about whether you can rear an animal or
No,
not.
no, but
So
but what I'm trying to say is that the sense that you are not allowed to not like that you're not allowed to be uncomfortable around dogs. This is a really recent phenomenon. It really is, and for people who are 70 years old, for
you can be uncomfortable. It's all relative. I understand totally if you just disconnected, you didn't have a chance, you're not, it's just how communities don't get along. But you can't overreact because that's an act of aggression. It's like passive aggression at the end. You go and do all that, like, it is a little too much. And there, that theater breeds more theater. And then I misbehave. And in Haryana, my cousin misbehaves even worse. And then you have all this. So, animal haters of the world who are disconnected, just try and look at the issue from the point of view where it's a little rational. Say you're not comfortable, and everybody is happy to help you. But when you have an aggression to your behavior, that breeds more aggression, and then we don't behave well. I go back and think about it, or if I talk to my wife or you guys on the podcast, and everybody's supporting me too, then I do realize
Follow
that
me at
hallucinating.
Instagram and
But
Twitter on
at that
board
point, male ego,
Rocha.
which is the worst thing in
I'm
the
so
world,
bored. I need your
it
help.
takes over.
I need your love.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need your
grandmother
touch.
was
Okay,
horrible to look at.
follow
I
me.
really wanted to say something. I felt victimized. I couldn't eat for hours after that. I don't know. It's not like she wasn't a question of ugly. She was freakishly strange-looking person. Probably very nice lady, but I couldn't engage. I just couldn't. But I didn't scream and shout, and I didn't jump around which I wanted to do. From the balcony onto the ground floor, onto my small Maruti car and out. Yeah. Not that the girl was worth it either. I mean, sure, she'd say the same. But let's not digress.
All right.
okay.
Let,
After 20 minutes on dogs,
yeah.
On dogs,
So
and actually, we just let the Gurugram sorry go out of the window.
yes.
sorry, we have another recording in 15 minutes. So we
Okay.
should
Should we
so
take a
we
break?
have to wrap up. No, yeah, let's take a break and we'll have to do a cred ad and then we can wrap up in another 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So we have to take a quick break. This is a world record for those who actually follow our show. This is the first time we've done one topic.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
We actually did two. Your Your head.
But that's not a topic. That was just taken from the rant.
Okay,
We just
like
kept
that.
on
Fair.
talking.
Okay,
How
fair.
dare that be a topic? And as topics go, we put aside a topic about Palestinians and Israelis going back to some sort of escalating violence, and instead went for the dog story. And I must say that seems to have been the right thing to do. We'll take a break.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in doing good, and I love it when I get rewarded for doing good. I mean, who doesn't? All we need to do is pay our credit card bills on the Cred app, and the rewards, ladies and gentlemen, the cashbacks and so much more. It's like being part of an exclusive club, a feeling I've never really had. I think I've already said too much. Just download Cred. But if they ask you, you didn't hear it from me. This going out on our show forever. It stays there. So I can't really deny it. Got to talk to the copywriter. It has to be a more, I would think, combined harmonious effort between him and me.
Okay.
Amit, are you the copywriter?
No, I am not.
I am the copywriter actually.
Oh, okay.
Is this yours? Are you the copywriter?
Yeah. All those jokes about your daughter wanting iPhones and your wife not marrying you.
Oh,
that's all me.
you've taken that basic and added your couple of lines, is it?
Exactly, yes.
So you added the humor element. So you're not to be blamed. The humor element is okay. I'm just thinking, because whenever you have to talk ads, we go into this fake voice. I'm a big believer, Well, if we were to actually do it, you'd be like, guys, I'm a big believer.
Yeah,
it would flow more real. So I don't know. But I do like.
No, yes, right.
No, I like that style still, that put on style because it's also going to fade now slowly.
No, but it's there. I think it's very much a classic kind of it's the announcer voice, right?
The announcer voice. And you tell me, Amit, when you listen to an ad about underwear, but the gravity in the voice that ends it and says, soft, durable, lasts forever, available in all sizes. And you're thinking, he's talking about underwear. This is not Moses giving a sermon.
But it is.
But there's a sense of comedy there which is really high for me.
I love announcer voice, right? I mean, like the guy who does all the movie trailers in Hollywood. In a world where this is happening.
James Earl Jones?
No, it's not James Earl Jones. There's this famous guy. I think he's also the WWE main announcer.
But he's got that rasp in the voice, no?
In a world
where all this is happening.
Yeah.
So I love that National Geographic guy. Who goes, what happened next?
National Geographic?
You tell us. They got this show, What Happened Next. Me and the daughter watch that a lot. And we watch it and we all do the voiceover with him. So supposing a car is on a precipice, right? And then they'll freeze they'll freeze the frame and then they'll give you 4 options. It'll be like, you tell me what happened next.
Interesting.
A, they go over the precipice. B, they stay where they are. C, somebody comes to save them. D, there's no one in the car.
This sounds like a show I'll enjoy. I should actually try
it. I love it. And we can you imagine the mesmerizing... It's on Nat Geo. I used to watch it on TV.
Okay. No, I think Nat Geo stuff's on Hotstar, so okay.
Yeah, we'll have to check.
Yeah.
It's called What Happens Next, I think.
And
we would do the voiceover because the thing will come, you can read out the options, right? So we do it all together. And then me and her would irritate the whole family at dinner because we keep talking like that. I'll have the chapati. I'll have the chawal. Imagine if you were the United Nations saying, India is the largest democracy.
No, that definitely sounds right up my alley. I've been watching quite a bit of reality crap in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I've got these are not
don't
sponsored.
Call Cyrus's show crap, yeah?
No, not Cyrus's show.
Joking.
No.
Sorry.
So what angle is it reality? Tell me which person was being real. Tell me one, except me to some extent.
So I got a subscription to Discovery Plus, basically the platform that advertised everywhere but on IBM. And
why didn't they advertise on IBM?
I don't know. We'll find out.
And then you would have got a subscription for them. It's like you.
Well, I got a subscription from them anyway, no?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What happened next?
No. So they've got a bunch of really, really cool shows on there, right? So they have a bunch of history shows which are really interesting. They have this show it's a hidden camera show. So maybe you would appreciate this as our most prominent hidden camera expert in the country.
Pioneer. There are far more prominent people with more malice in their heart.
Okay.
I'm glad to say.
No, but it's a hidden camera show which basically looks at psychological aspects of why things are funny. And it was quite fun. I'll send you the link. You can.
Sorry, what's it called again?
Damn it! It'll take a while for me to figure that
Okay,
out.
But
no,
you know
fine,
that
fine.
theory,
Very well.
right? That when you're in a collective, you tend to laugh much more.
Yep, of course.
Yeah.
You laugh out loud. The whole problem is you're 12 or 10 people together. So it's very different dynamics. You see the same show in a theater, Antariksh and his friends and you, me, or whatever, and everybody laughs because it becomes like another beast in that room. The live show or a comedian. And then when you sit at home, just you and the wife or maybe you alone, you don't laugh out loud.
Absolutely.
Exactly the same thing or the same
Exactly.
performer. That's
It's called Outrageous Acts of Psych.
wow.
Okay, wow.
Outrageous acts of psych.
Yeah, it was really funny.
happened
But
next?
this was a interesting. It was fun to watch, right? Because I mean, like again, you're looking at like all of this from, and you see it, and you kind of like, oh, this is a psychological trick that's being played on them, which is making them react like this. So it's fun. I definitely.
So you manipulate it in such a way to prove your experimental data that you had in mind.
Well,
You
not really, right? So I'll give you an example, right? Like, so one of the things they did, right, was they wanted to see how paranoia develops in people, and they wanted to demonstrate that, right? Or not paranoia, but rather how, like, discomfort leads to anger because of something you're this, right? And so
Paranoia, like when they announced lockdown,
yeah.
you all run to the provision store. We have the example.
So what they were talking about over here was like there was this thing where a guy is going into a store and he is acting as if he is what do you call it? As if the person on the other end of the call is somebody who is about to want to pick a fight with him, and then he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm right over here in this store. Why don't you come and do? Well, I'll start fighting with you, right? Just come to the store." And then he starts describing himself, and he'll go like, "Yeah, I'm standing over here. I'm in a red T-shirt. I'm wearing glasses. I have all my hair." I'm describing Cyrus instead of myself, but like the idea being that you're describing the person right next to you, right? And basically how those people react to this guy.
Oh, nice.
Right, and so they're basically trying to figure out, like, they're picking these different psychological pegs on that basis.
100% they're not in the know.
They're not in the know. They're not, because then they tell them about it in the course of the show itself.
Yeah.
So the fact that they don't know is also kind of explored.
We should do a podcast like that. We start talking to someone and tell they have no idea it's a podcast. How do we do that?
I don't know.
I think it'll have to be live. It can't be over Zoom. Because
Yeah, it cannot be over Zoom.
It can't be over Zoom, but when life is normal, you can set it
You
up.
can
You're in
do
a car
a-
with someone and you put it on, boom.
Yeah,
You
you
But
can
it
do
goes
it like
live.
in like one of those taxi driver things, right? You know that taxi show? The
But
taxi
they can
quiz
sue
show?
you. They can sue you.
I mean, yeah.
You
You
mean the fake TV on the porn sites?
No, not fake taxi. No. Talk about the
Bro,
taxi
give me
quiz
five.
show.
We watch the same stuff, cinema-wise.
No. Talk about the
Mom's
taxi quiz
watching.
show.
Mom's watching. You have to hide.
No, you guys know that quiz
Yeah.
taxi show, right? You get into this random cab. Turns out it's a quiz taxi.
Can we go
where-
back to taxi porn? What the hell are you guys talking about?
No, we've
Wait,
gone from
what?
there to it's similar. So he's saying that it's a similar show there, except there's no porn. You get picked up or you get into a cab and
Okay.
you're in the middle of a show.
Yeah.
The show
Oh.
is the cab,
Yeah.
and you participate in it. But it's a fun show.
That could be fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, sorry, Amit, you don't know about this taxi porn thing?
How am I supposed to? No, I
But
don't
you
know
spend
about
too
taxi
much
porn.
time on tech without actually looking at what tech gives you. This is the bloody problem. Your generation.
Like, there's a genre of taxi porn? Like,
Yeah, it's
seriously?
called fake taxi.
Amit Doshi.
It's a taxi driver who gets lucky with
I'm
all these
ashamed.
hot women who are in his
You're a
cab.
Valkeshwar boy. I'm ashamed. You're the only one in the whole of Valkeshwar who hasn't seen it. It's a huge genre, boss.
Yeah.
Where the
And
fake,
it's
called
not just fake taxi. It's fake taxi, fake auditions,
Yeah.
fake
Fake casting, it's called.
casting and all.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. There's like a whole fake thing.
He and I do our homework. We don't just check. So fake taxi porn is exactly the one where you want a voiceover saying, "What happened next?" Because she enters the cab and then boom. And it's always about money, huh? In the sense that she has no money. That's the reason why they get at it, obviously.
That's obviously yes.
Or she has less money and
Or
things like that.
either that, or she has a little time to kill before her next engagement, or whatever.
So they really thought it through.
Yeah,
All the
right.
different plot lines.
You guys have also really paid attention to the plot lines in porn.
Yes.
No, I'd like to be secular when it comes to art. You should not say, "Oh, this is terrible," and look down on it. Check it out. And the lighting in some of these films is spectacular. Enter Maya. There goes the conversation. So I don't think we can do the tech one. We'll save that for another day.
Let's
He
talk
wants to
about it.
rant.
Yes.
Sure.
Oh, Hello, everybody. Welcome to another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you're not following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Siet, thewholetruthfoods.com, and PayPal. We really do appreciate the support. On Cyrus Says, we discussed quite a bit about the local assembly elections this month. Vasanti Hariprakash was there to talk about the West Bengal elections, and then we also spoke to Pradeep Gupta, a psephologist and author. He's the chairman and MD of Access My India. Do definitely check that episode out. Great conversation. Tune into This Round Is On Me, where Gauri Devidayal caught up on the latest trends in the PR industry with Archana Jain from PR Pundit. On The Habit Coach, Ashton Doctor spoke to Anandita Chatterjee. She's the founder of Travel Chatter. She's been a marketer with some large firms and has traveled to 67 countries so far. It was a RuPaul Drag Race fan club on KBCD where Farhad and Sunetro discussed the show's best moments and talents. Amber Rana was joined by celebrity fitness trainer Shivoham on New Year Kanun to discuss fitness laws and regulations in India. They talk about the laws and infrastructure that exist to protect gyms, trainers, and also consumers in the fitness industry. And on the note with Maruk Inayat, we have clinical psychologist and friend of the network, Sonali Gupta. She talks about ongoing mental health issues like survivor's guilt, coping with anxiety around the pandemic, and doom scrolling. And with that, let me get you back to your show.
In my mom's thing, I think we did one question about if Amit and I were joint
Yes.
PM.
I want to go back to that.
I forgot to say one thing. The
Yep.
one thing he would do.
Should I just ask the question again?
Yep. Oh, go ahead. But,
Yep,
but I'm just okay.
Yeah. So this question had come in from Sushil Maharana. I had already asked this in the Mother's Day special episode.
Okay.
The question is, AMA question. If Amit and Cyrus were given an opportunity to be co-PMs of our country, co-prime ministers of our country, what would be the two most important decisions taken by them to save our country from COVID and economic crisis?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I just like to talk shit, man. I don't have any solutions.
No, I
Sorry,
solved
Susan.
everything for both of us.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
I did a huge vaccine mobilizing on a war footing with the army, navy, everybody involved. And from every small corner of India, village to urban cities and all that, everybody was vaccinated in 7 days.
I stand behind that. I agree with that.
Then of course I went crazy about how lockdown will be cancelled and you'll go back to work as fast as possible. So you'd probably find a middle path there. Then what I didn't say, which I know you would say, is that you would now finally deal with the other elephant in the room, Apple. As Prime Minister, there's an ordinance passed that Apple products will be taxed out of, am I right?
Well, the Apple products are already taxed
Yeah,
by Apple.
that's true.
They charge you so much more than what they're worth.
Ooh, we gotta save this. See, we gotta get a guy who's pro Apple because I'm not. My daughter is, but I don't want her to fight with Amit. Silverie, are you pro Apple?
Not really, man. No, I don't have any.
So
other
do me a
problems.
favor. In the next week, try and locate one guy, one of our stand-up comedians, one of our friends and family who come on the show.
like
There's
huge
only
on
one guy who's
Apple.
Apple.
Okay.
There's only
I don't
one
think
Apple.
stand-up comedians make enough money to be pro Apple.
That's true.
They can get
That's
gifts,
true.
Baba.
Huh?
They can get gifts. We got to find someone. From our
Maybe, but
dossier.
I don't think that there are too many of them who make enough money to buy multiple Apple products.
No, in fairness, we need to have the opposing argument because otherwise what happens is you just slaughter Apple. I don't know enough about anything. And I agree with you because it's always about cost to company and that's where they sin. So, I think Silverie doesn't care enough about the topic. You're getting away with it. We need someone from the other side.
So let me just say this, right? Apple people talk all about their design and stuff like that. I read a 2,500 plus word 2,500 word article from an ex-Apple employee who was their head of design, who has written textbooks about design, who is talking about how Apple has since the iPhone came out, so basically 2004 onwards, has completely lost the plot on design.
Amit Doshi, I'll tell you one thing. The word you use is X. The moment you use the word X, the prejudice is there.
Huh.
Ex-employee talking about Coke, ex-employee talking about MTV, ex-employee talking about the Congress Party. Come on.
This is the guy who wrote Apple's design
Yes.
guidelines from the 1990s up
Yes.
until iOS came
Yes,
out.
but he does a flip only after he's removed from the job or had an exit, which we don't know
I mean,
whether
that's when he's allowed to
unceremonious.
talk. No, before that he
Yeah,
can't
I
talk.
have an Apple lover on my left here who will fight with you tooth and nail. She knows everything about the subject. But
Okay.
I don't want you to go through that because the repercussions from both sides will be on me. And I'm just a guy looking to get rid of hair in my ear. So
Should we do one quick one
Yeah,
more
let's do one.
before
Yeah.
we?
Cyrus,
go in?
mic a little higher.
yeah, and sorry, and one more thing. 700th episode is coming up. I think we're about 690 odd at this
About
point.
10 episodes away.
Yeah, 10 episodes away. So why don't we get 2 or 3 of these regular guys on if it's possible? The ones
Sure.
who write to us the most.
We can try.
Like
Yeah,
Kashin
cool.
Shetty
Kashin
and a couple of
Shetty, yeah.
others.
Yeah.
You know?
Antariksh put together a list of names.
I'll do
Whoever
this.
wants to write to Antariksh, I think
Yeah.
what Cyrus says at gmail.com.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And we'll do a whole AMA start
Yep.
to finish.
Cool.
All right, sorry.
All right,
Quick AMA?
one. Yeah, quick one. It says, "Hi Cyrus, Amit, Silverie and Silverie. Enjoy listening to your show. It's entertaining and informative. I'm curious to know if any of your guests have ever refused to come on the podcast, presumably because they fear not being able to keep up with the banter or fear saying something politically incorrect that would hurt them later. Has that ever happened?"
That's two different things. Are you insinuating because of me politically incorrect? Because that's two different things.
No, them saying something politically incorrect.
That now, how can we answer? Because I don't think have we had any person who would be scared to
I don't
expose himself?
think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, so we've been lucky. Most people have said yes. Most people haven't said, like, we've rarely gotten like a no, I'm not
We've not got
interested.
too many controversial people who are under a scanner or something.
Yeah.
Or political parties, we don't have anyone.
We haven't done much political stuff at all, right? I mean, like outside of Sanjay Jha and Shazia Ilmi that did that live episode. I think you did another episode with Sanjay as well sometime last year.
Sanjay alone, yeah.
But I think that might be it. I don't think we've done more political than that.
We've asked Rahul Gandhi to come on, he refused.
He's refused.
We've asked anyone from the BJP to come on under the age of 30, they've refused.
They laughed in our faces.
Yeah, they just said, who? IVM?
Yeah.
What political party is this? India versus people. IVM. IVM. Sorry, excuse me.
No, but I don't think we've had too many refusals per se, right? Not for like reasons.
So in MTV, I had Amir Khan once, I know. He's really nice. I hope if he hears this, don't disrespect to him. Where he told Anurag Rao, who was our talent managing, head of programming, talent managing, he said that Ken, Maria, or one of the girls, Malaika, or whatever, do the Mangal Pandey interview, not Cyrus, because he's too, I don't want it to be a silly interview. So that's as far. Yeah, so that's true. So they were worried that Mangal Pandey, and that's the only film of his which didn't do well in those 4-5 years.
Right, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad
Mangal
movie,
Pandey, The Rising. Remember me jokes we did? I don't know if you guys remember.
I do remember.
The poster and
But it wasn't a bad movie. It was a decent movie, huh?
It probably, as usual, the good movies never do well. And then let's not discuss the ones that did.
Yes.
But that's the only thing I remember. I can't remember anyone else.
I can't honestly either, right? I mean, like,
and that was a fair enough reason because he wanted to project in a certain way. So it's not even
so
bad.
on this show, like, I mean, like, we were very clear from day one that we don't want to do too much Bollywood stuff, right? And I think that those are the, and we don't want to do politicians too much either, right? And those are, I think, the only two classes of people who take themselves so seriously that we'd have issues.
Yeah, and the PR person will be standing there over your head and all that.
Yeah. I mean, like, most of the people who we're looking at bringing on are like, comedians, influencers, people who've got some sort of achievements in other fields of life. So most of them are always happy.
Basically, they have less money, and hence they can come on our show.
We've had people with much money come on, but still.
And we wanted their money.
Yes, we
it's
do.
entrapment. We've called them, we've put out them, we said only good things, and then nothing. Never heard from them again. Oh, really? Yeah, but I don't think. But it's a fair question. I don't think we'll be able to answer it also because people will make excuses you may not know. There are a few.
Yeah, no, that happens too, right? I mean, like, people definitely, I'm sure, make excuses, right?
Like during that terrible flood that we had, there's one girl whose name I won't mention, and then she never returned. Now, I don't know what upset her because we all struggled to get there. Then we did get there, and she was just irritated that no one was there to meet her. But it took you and me 4 hours, if you remember, both ways, etc. And even Naveen was, 2-3 hours from wherever the hell he lives.
No, but it's so there are excuses, right? I mean, like, oh, not convenient right now. Maybe let's catch up next week, next month. And sometimes those catch-ups never happen, right? So I mean, like, that does happen. But no, mostly people are nice. Everybody who has been on so far has been awesome. So there have been no complaints.
And if we ever become a $1 billion company, we will give a small little present to each one, like a Diwali sweets or something. So everyone will be well rewarded for being on our show.
Yes, for sure.
Maybe we can give the same basket. You give it and then they ask them to return it to the next guy. Yeah, pass it on. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right then. We'll be back with more next week. Have a very pleasant weekend. I leave you with the voice that changed the world.
Oh, and Eid Mubarak, right?
Next. Oh, yeah, we have to wish Eid Mubarak.
Oh, yeah, it is Eid, isn't it, today?
Yeah.
Today, tomorrow, both. It's depending.
So
sighting of the moon. So happy Eid.
Today and yesterday. This is going on Friday.
14th and 15th. Now, where's my calendar?
So this goes on. No, but I was told 13th and 14th.
Okay, let's not argue. Let's just wish everybody happy Eid.
Yes.
We have enough trouble not fighting over dates now.
That is true.
And let's hope Eid brings in a little bit of happiness to this country and world. I can't take this pandemic and lockdown anymore. I can't take it, Maya. Can't take it. Yeah, happy Eid. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps. Please, we beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter, on Cyrus Says In. Or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Come learn and experience the ABCDs of being queer with me, Shunetro,
and me, Farhad,
on our show Gay BCD.
The two of us take you through our stories and experiences of being gay men in the city of Mumbai and have candid
and sometimes downright scandalous
conversations about sexuality, gay culture, and everything in between.
Catch new episodes of Gay BCD every Tuesday on the IVM Podcast website, app, or wherever you get all your podcasts from.
If you love cricket, listen up. The Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast is here for you. Hosted by DJ, Varun, and me, Ashwin, we bring a fun, fresh fan's point of view to talking all things cricket. Sometimes it's just the three of us, sometimes we have guests, including current and former international cricketers. For new episodes every week, check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast on the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.